Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Youth Man. If you watched my last two videos, I compared the Monolith 15 against the SVS PB3000. We did kind of a head-to-head comparison using the demo Aquaman and basically just what I heard as well as what I felt in my listening position. And then I did a second video that used REW, Room EQ Wizard, to really see how they actually performed, and we graphed that and we were able to see the frequency response. Well, in this video, we're going to put the PB16 against the Monolith 15. You guys ready? I know I am. But before we get into the video, if you're into home theater, audio, and video, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified when the next video drops. All right, I know some of you guys are already thinking, Michael, this is going to be an unfair competition. I mean, even though both of them are 15-inch subwoofers, even though both of them are about the same cabinet volume, the PB16, I mean, it's $2,500. It's got DSP built in and all this stuff. And the Monolith, well, it's like $1,300. So there's a huge difference there. Well, really what I want to see in this video, just for my own personal knowledge, as well for you guys, because a lot of you have been asking about this down in the comments, as well as over on the Youth Man Crew Facebook page. You wanted to see, how do these match up head to head? Is the PB16 worth the extra coin to get that amount of output or whatever? Well, I know I have some theories. I own dual PB16s, and I'll be honest with you guys, if the Monolith 15 like destroys the PB16, it doesn't offend me at all. Doesn't change anything the way I feel about the PB16. I really like these subs. Are they perfect? Nope. So the PB16s aren't the best speaker out there. They're not the best subwoofer out there, but they're awesome. I love them, and they just incredibly pressurize this room. And I love the flexibility. Being behind my screen, I can actually control volume settings all using my phone with the SVS app. So that's really cool to me. Plus, I love the way they look. They're gorgeous in the piano black finish. But today, we're just going to put them head to head. I'm actually going to do the audio demo. And at the end of that, I'm going to do some REW comparisons. I'm going to try to make this video quick, so I'm going to stop talking here and let's get to comparing. Okay, so here we are in Aquaman, the same scene that we used in the previous videos. In Odyssey, I've got Odyssey turned off. Everything's turned off, dynamic volume, all that stuff. Up here at sound parameter, we've got EQ off, everything's off. IMAX doesn't matter because we're not shooting in IMAX. And then if I back out and come down to speakers, manual setup, we've got the levels at the same exact spot we did in the previous videos, set at -10. I've dialed the subwoofer on the gain to 70 decibels on my SPL meter at reference. And so we're all good to go. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. Oh yeah. Definitely feeling it in my chest, my arms, couch is vibrating. So what happens when this submarine comes out of the water and hits it? It's a pretty low note right up here. Man, Monolith handled that very well. All right, let's go to the second scene. Oh yeah, I like that part. Some deep notes there. All right, here comes the grenade launcher. Okay, there's a little warble sound. There was one low note there that the Monolith didn't handle so well. So I'm going to put the PB16 in the exact same location as the Monolith 15, and we'll see how it performs. Oh yeah. Definitely feeling it in my body. My chair is shaking a lot more. My cabinet's definitely shaking more. Man, that's a really, really deep note there. Just handling the bass very well, very clean. Oh my goodness. All right, so that's a really, really low note right there. Oh yeah. All right, here comes the grenade launcher. Oh yeah, definitely like that. All right, and here we are inside of REW. So we're going to compare these two subwoofers using some software. If you're not familiar with REW, I'd recommend watching this previous video right up here in the card above, and that'll kind of give you a better idea of what we're doing. But I'm about to do is what we call compression testing. So I'm just going to jump into it. We're going to click measure, come down here. Before I hit start measure, we're at -6 dB on the receiver, and we're going to continue to work our way up in volume until we hit compression with the Monolith 15. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to come up here and hit all SPL. We're going to increase the volume 3 dB, so that's at -3. We're going to take another measurement here. And everything looks good. You can see the same amount of distance between each one of these frequencies. So we're going to continue up to 0 dB, take one more measurement. All right, everything still looks good, so we're going to go up to, this is definitely probably going to hit compression right here. All right, so we can see what happens here. We had equal distance every time we increased 3 decibels, except for this last time when I increased it to +3. We can see right here we've got less than a 3 decibel gain. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to back it down to +1. I'm going to hide this one right here. We're going to take a measurement again and see if it stays at +1 all the way down, like 1 decibel in gain. Let's try this again. Okay, and so you can see right here, the line, we've got equal distance here until we get right here. So at 0 decibels, that's where we hit compression. So we're going to go ahead and delete that one. And so right there is where we're at. So we started off at -6, went to -3, went to 0, and that was fine. And then we went to +1, basically +1 decibels on the receiver. That's where we hit compression. So I delete that one. And the last, basically the maximum output that this subwoofer has is right here at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the green and hide the red. And then what I'm going to do is I'll bring out the PB16. I'm going to swap those. And then what we'll do is run those same exact tests. I'm going to make sure that the PB16 is the same exact volume using my SPL meter at reference. And that way they're both level matched at 70 dB. So we've got this as pretty accurate as we possibly can make it inside my room. And give me a second, I'll swap them out and we'll run some tests on the PB16. I've got the PB16 in the same location the Monolith 15 was in, and I have it calibrated at the same exact volume. So we're going to come up here to measure and click Start Measuring. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to increase the volume to -3 decibels. Come up here to measure, take our second measurement. Okay, so we have equal distance between all of the points here, so we're going to increase the receiver up to 0 dB. This is where the Monolith hit compression. All right, everything is still looking good, same amount of distance. Increase the volume to 3 dB. Come up here and click Measure. All right, still no sign of compression. We can see we've got equal distance between each of these. So I'm going to go incrementally. So I don't want to damage this. I'm going to go up to +5. All right, so everything is still looking good. Let's go up to +6. So we should have a 1 decibel increase. All right, and so here you can see we've got variance right through here. So there's less gap here than there is here, less gap here than there is here, less gap here. So we start hitting compression there. So it's safe to say that this purple line is compression. So we'll delete that one just like we did before. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to name this SVS PB16 compression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off all of these other lines because they really don't matter in this test. So I'm going to turn off the red one, turn off this lower blue one. So now what we're left is this blue line, and I believe the other one was, yeah, it's blue as well. So I'm going to come down here to this little color thing, and we're going to change the PB16 to red. That way we can see it easier. So now what we're going to do is down here it says PB16 compression, and I spelled that like completely wrong, but it doesn't matter. And then we're going to turn on the Monolith at compression and kind of see how they compare. All right, so here's what we're looking at. And honestly, this is really exactly what I expected. In the previous video that we did, we found out that the Monolith really was pretty flat all the way down to 10 hertz. So 10 hertz is over here. So we've got solid output pretty much all the way across here, from 20 hertz here all the way down to 10 hertz. Now with the PB16, with the PB3000, we pretty much around about 17, 18 hertz, somewhere in there, we began to see a steep roll off. And again, I believe this is by design from SVS. Doesn't necessarily mean it's less of a subwoofer. That's just the way they chose to design it. On their website, it even talks about how they have a steep roll-off. But in comparison, you can see that you're going to get, at least in my room, again, I want to kind of preface this. This is my room. This is my acoustics. your room may vary, but honestly, I don't think it's going to vary that much. But as we can see in my room, we've got solid output here in these lower frequencies, whereas the PB16 begins to lose output below probably 18 hertz if I click here. So actually that's 16 hertz. So at 16 hertz, that's still pretty low, guys. But at 16 hertz, you begin to lose volume pretty rapidly. Whereas on the Monolith 15, you maintain solid volume, solid SPL, all the way down to 10 hertz. And as you can see, it's starting to decline a little bit. And then over here, here's where the difference between, the other difference between the PB16 and the Monolith. The difference is in the higher frequencies. So anywhere between 16 and above, clearly the PB16 has more output. And so if we look here, the Monolith at, let's go to, all right, so at 30 hertz right here. So if I click here, the Monolith hit 105 decibels. And at that same frequency, the PB16, trying to get my cursor right there. So the PB16, instead of being 105 for the Monolith, the PB16 was at 110. And so we've got 5 decibels more volume, more SPL with the PB16 than we do with the Monolith. So really my conclusion on this is that you definitely have more output with the PB16, but there's a big cost difference there too. You're going from a $1,300 subwoofer to a $2,500 subwoofer. But definitely even the Monolith here, that's some solid output. I mean, you're getting 105 decibels in my room at 30 hertz. You know, over here at 50 hertz, that's that kick you in the chest kind of bass, the one that you can really feel. So that is, we're still solid at 107 decibels here. Yeah, 106 decibels, whereas the PB16 is 111 decibels. So that's pretty significant. All right, guys, before I share with you my final thoughts on how these two subwoofers compared, I want to say a big shout out and a big thank you to all of my patrons. These patrons give me the support and the love that I need to continue to do some great things, not only here on this YouTube platform, but also just for my patrons. Patrons get access to certain videos that you guys don't hear on the YouTube platform, such as behind the scenes content, even some personal stuff in my own life that I get to share, just kind of a better relationship building and just allow you some more insight as to who I am. And so thank you to my patrons. If you're not a patron, I'd love for you to become one. As I mentioned, I've got links to it down in the description. For as low as $2 a month, you would be a big blessing to me here on this channel. Now keep in mind, this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. Monolith, SVS, neither one of these have paid me any amount of money or given me any incentives to sway my thoughts or my opinions on these two subwoofers. And so the great thing about that is that I'm able to just produce content for you guys that hopefully is as unbiased as possible. Yes, I own the PB16s. I bought those, but I could care less if the Monolith spanked the bottom off of the PB16. It is what it is. I'm going to be getting in some subwoofers from JTR, and there's probably some more down the line from Power Sound Audio, maybe some from Rhythmic, and there are going to be times where those subwoofers I know are going to outperform my PB16, and I'm okay with that. I don't have to be the best and have the biggest and baddest subwoofers on YouTube or in the world. I'm okay because I love what I hear from the PB16s. Will I upgrade one day? Yeah, I can almost assure you. And not because I don't like them, just because I love bass. I can tell you right now, when the time comes for me to upgrade, it's probably going to be either single 18s, maybe 2 of them, or possibly even 4 of them. So we'll just see what happens. But anyway, so I want to share with you my final thoughts on the PB16 and the Monolith 15. Honestly, guys, both of these are incredible subwoofers. They're definitely at different price points. You got one that's at about $1,300, and you got the other one that's at $2,500. That's a big gap. I mean, we're talking a huge gap price-wise. And so most of you, if you've got $1,500, that's going to be almost like an unreachable, step for you to be able to go from 15 or 1300 to 2500. That's probably not realistic. And so if your budget is around 1500, man, 100%, I absolutely would recommend the Monolith 15. This thing's a bad mamma jamma. Lots of output, lots of just grunt to it. But with that said, the PB16 just has more output. It was super clean. I mean, all of those frequencies, as it was just shaking my room, it does sound cleaner. The Monolith, I don't think it necessarily sounds sloppy, but just those certain frequencies, those low frequencies, the PB16 handled those better. They just sounded cleaner. And so I love the PB16. It's got an app features that you can control all kinds of parameters, built-in DSP, control everything about it, set some presets inside the app. But if you don't need those features, if you don't need a piano black finish, and you just want something that's got, some amazing output, great solid bottom end, the Monolith definitely is an incredible, incredible buy at only $1,300. And so guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you like either one of these subwoofers or any other subwoofers I've talked about, I've got links to it down in the description below. Anytime you click on my links and purchase something, it definitely helps out the channel. And guys, as always, I hope you're blessed, and we'll catch you in the next video.